G'day guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Wildkard. Thank you for being here and watching my content. As always, it is my pleasure and privilege to talk about rugby right here on YouTube. Now, you might be saying, hey, why are you wearing that jersey, mate? Hey, look, I have to pander to the one English viewer on my channel, okay? So just don't bash me for wearing this jersey and let's get on with this review. England versus Wales. Oh boy. At Twickenham, this has to be one of the worst rugby test matches I have ever seen. Honestly, I have seen schoolboys play better than these test match level players. It was embarrassing for both teams, not just England, for both teams. The elementary errors that both teams have made, the poor decisions making for both teams, the poor set piece, both teams, and the extremely high amount of penalties. The referee was giving out cards like it was everybody's birthday, right? And there was, 2 yellow cards against Wales, 3 yellow cards against England, and a red card. One big fat red card against the irrefutably, undeniably, and with clear and obvious evidence that Owen Farrell is by far the worst player in the England team. And it's a blessing in disguise for England, actually. The fact that he's going to get probably a 6-week ban from the shoulder charge, which means he could potentially miss out like 2 or 3 matches in the World Cup. It's a big blessing in disguise for England because the England team played much better without him, with 14 players. So Owen Farrell was bringing not synergy, but negativity. Like, he was a detriment to the English performance when he was on the field. Okay? So having him being banned is actually a blessing in disguise. And I trust me, he's going to get a big, long ban because this is not the first time he's had this shoulder charge issue. He's had a history of shoulder charging people and he's been banned in the past. So he's not going to get the first time clear slate reduction. He's going to get 6 weeks and he's already done the tackling training. So he's going to get 6 weeks and there will be like pretty much no wiggle room for this incident, and he's gonna miss out. Yeah, and it's gonna be for England's benefit that he misses out. Even before he was sent off, right? I noticed that he was really slow. Like, I don't know if it's just me. He looked very slow. Like, there was no inject. There was one point where he kind of found himself a bit of a gap in the first half. If that was Marcus Smith or even George Ford, that would have been a try. He would have gone, like, they would have punched through that gap. And he just like jogged. He literally was jogging through the gap and then made this one-handed offload. It looked so slow. Like, he looked like a prop. Like, honestly, I don't know what to say. Like, even before he was when he was on the field, he looked really slow. His passing was horrendous. There was one point where he literally threw the ball. I'll probably put this as the thumbnail, and then he just slipped out his hand. Like, like it was not raining. It was dry. It looked like he looks like he was holding a, I don't know, something. I don't know, what is it. I don't know, like, it looked like he was holding I don't know, it looked like he was holding a cat, and the cat jumped out his hand as he was trying to throw it, right? Like, literally, that's what it looked like. It was so bad. Like, the ball just completely came out of his hands, and it was so embarrassing. He wasn't really under much pressure with that as well. And there was one point, his decision-making was also extremely bad as the captain as well. There was one point just before halftime, England was pounding like the Welsh like try line, repeated penalties. Referee gives a warning, yellow card coming out. Wales, any more penalties? Are you gonna go to the bin? And the England does have especially with a warm-up match, you wanted to work and practice on your set piece, right? That's something you need to prepare for the World Cup. Something that Wales actually did pretty much every time they've been given to work on their set piece. They went for the set piece instead of for 3 points. So England should be doing the same. Owen Farrell decides to take 3 points just before halftime. After so much dominance, especially like when there was a lack of dominance for so long, finally getting some dominance, he decides to take 3 points. And he was, I'm pretty sure, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, I'm pretty sure he was trolling when he was taking this kick, because the shot, this was right in front of goalpost. Like, you can literally kick this one over with your eyes closed, right? And I'm talking like anybody can kick this one over with their eyes closed. That's how close he was. He took the full allocated 1 minute. He literally waited, stood there, waited for the clock to all the way go down to like 3 seconds before he kicked it. And then he just like laughing. He was like laughing after he kicked this goal. And like, I'm like, what are you doing? What exactly is this guy fucking doing? The game is already over. It's already half time. Like, you know, the clock is well past the 40-minute point. Just punt it over and go down the change room. He just stood there, literally, until the clock all the way ticked down to about 3 seconds and then kicked it. And then he just starts laughing. It was so bad. I honestly, he was like, I wrote in my notes, is this guy trolling? Like, let me know. Is he trolling? Because that was really bad look from his part. And yeah, it was really, really, really bizarre. And so aside from those as a captain, really poor decisions, poor tackling technique, gets shoulder charge, gets himself red carded. And yeah, just overall, look really, really, really slow. And this is absolutely a blessing in disguise for England, having him being banned. And I wouldn't be surprised if he just gets his captaincy completely revoked, maybe even dropped from the squad, because they can still adjust the squad before the World Cup starts. I won't be surprised if he just gets completely dropped out of the squad and not go to the World Cup at all. This was really, really embarrassing. Speaking of that, there was one really bizarre moment against England. I'll be looking, the only player that I actually enjoy watching and I look forward to playing is Ellis Genge. He is absolutely like the best England prop for like maybe last time England had a prop that this dominant in the set piece was probably in the loose set side, at least, was probably Andrew Sheridan, right? I remember Andrew Sheridan used to dominate the scrummaging, dominate the set piece, and just absolutely brutal when it comes to just the forward, you know, the dark arts, right? And Ellis Genge really, I'm really excited. I was really excited to see him. So the first scrum packs down, it was England feed. Ellis Genge looked like he just slipped or something. He just pancaked on his side of the scrum. And the referee immediately gives a penalty for, I want to just get what the referee said correctly here. The referee immediately gives a penalty against Ellis Genge for over-leaning. So I don't really understand what this means. Over-leaning, collapsing the scrums, and then he gets a yellow card for this. So from the replay, it just looks like he probably overextended himself and slipped. That's what it looks like. And, you know, it doesn't make sense to me for this to be a yellow card because, one, it's English feed. So sometimes teams will do this. They will deliberately collapse the scrum to slow the game down, for instance, to like, you know, to mess with the opposition. If the opposition had a good engagement on them, they will try to do this to like reset the scrum. That could be, that could be considered cynical play, and then to reset the scrum. And then to get, you know, and then that is deserving of a yellow card. But this is the English feed. It's their own feed. There's no reason for Ellis Genge to deliberately go down in his own feed. So this makes no sense to me why this was a yellow card. And let me know your thoughts, because I really felt this was unjustified against Ellis Genge here for a yellow card. And so there was 1 point of the England team. There was 3 players in the bin. Wales was against 12 players on the field, and they still lost the game. Yeah. So there was 1 point where Ellis Genge was in the bin. Following, there was a yellow card turned into red card against Owen Farrell after that. And there was, I think it was Henry Arundel? Just before, it was Freddie Stewart. So Henry Arundel already got a yellow card as well. So Freddie Stewart had a yellow card just before Ellis Genge, where he took out Josh Adams in the air. This was a pinpoint accurate execution by Dan Biggar, crossfield kick just in front of a try line. And, you know, Freddie Stewart was a bit out of position, and he was left with no choice. Timed the wrong, you know, tackled Josh Adams in the air. Yellow penalty try, yellow card. That was, well, you know, that was completely the right call from the referee. But then Ellis Genge gets sent off, and then Owen Farrell gets sent off with the red card shoulder charge. So there was a big period with Wales, and this was all like pretty much back to back. So Wales had a big period playing against 12 players. And then another big period where they had to play against 13 players. And then another big period playing against 14 players. And they still lost this game. So Warren Gatland will be kicking himself for that, because that's a game for them to win after so much has gone wrong for England. For Wales, it's ill discipline. Similarly with England as well. Lots of drop balls. And the worst of all is the criminally bad lineouts from one of the Wales. So they had their starting hooker was injured really early. He already was struggling with the lineouts, overthrowing, having the balls getting picked off by Courtney Laws. And then the reserve hooker came on, even worse. And this is just boggles my mind as well, right? The lineout, you feel struggling with the lineout. Just stick to the basics, right? If the English was going to challenge the front and take the ball, good on them, all right? Considering how bad the lineout is going, you just throw it to the front. Like, first of all, quick throws, quick calls before you go into lineout. Like, this is a professional team. I don't know why they don't just like it. So they go into the lineout, they take 30 seconds to get the call, and then they run around, do these crazy things, and they don't even know what call they're doing. Like, there was literally, they don't even know what calls they were doing, and then the ball gets overthrown, right? Like, it's so bad, this Welsh lineout. Surely you just tell the hooker, we're going to Adam Beard at 2, and we're just going to go immediately as we set the lineout. And then bang, if English steals it, great. If they don't steal it, we're done and out of the way, because clearly we're struggling. They just get that out of the way. Instead of they keep trying to do these stupid things where they don't even, literally, their own players don't even know what's going on. And then the referee's like, all right, you've taken way too long to throw this ball in. That's just the straight up short arm to England, right? It was so bad. I actually couldn't believe how poorly managed this was for the Welsh team. And so that was a massive point that hurt the Welsh team. They literally couldn't do any of the set piece. And then also, like I said, once the Owen Farrell went off the field, the English rest set piece really started to look better. And Adam Beard gets a yellow card for repeated penalties. And then, English just rolled over the ball. And the Welsh defense for the ball was not really poor. The Welsh set piece was really poor themselves. And the one good positive thing that I did notice with the Welsh team is the support running and the offloading. The offloading game for this Welsh team, when they did find themselves in a little bit of space, really looked world class. Warren Gatland being the Kiwi himself will be really emphasizing a lot on that. And it really looked good. And they were able to score with that. But, there was really very, very, very few opportunities that was given to the backs because the forwards really wasn't there to build that platform for the backs to do what they needed to be done. So let's go through the key points here. Match stats: 1 tries to England, 3 tries to Wales, and was it 3 tries? Yeah, it was 2 tries. I thought it was 2 tries or 3 tries. I thought it was 2 tries to Wales. Anyway, 3 tries to Wales. I'm pretty sure this is wrong. I'm pretty sure that's 2 tries. Because I know there was a penalty try. That was a crossfield. Anyway, 376 run meters to Wales 350. So I'll double check that later. Doesn't matter. The turnovers conceded is 11 against England, which is pretty bad already. 15 against Wales. Even worse. It was way worse for Wales towards the end of the game after Owen Farrell has been sent off. Tackle count was okay for both teams. 95 for England, 14 missed tackles, 132 for Wales, 18 missed tackles. So it was pretty okay for both teams. The kicking game, once again, overwhelmingly committed to the kicking game by the English team. In fact, they had 20 kicks already at halftime for England. Wales only had 10. Second half, England kind of dialed that down a little bit, especially when Owen Farrell went off. They just really played, ball to hand. And whereas the Welsh was struggling the whole game to try and find a space, but at least they were trying to make the plays. Penalty kicks was pretty good for both teams, 100%. I thought Dan Biggar's goal kicking was just, really beautiful to watch. Like his technique, the way he hits the ball, the sound that he makes, the way the ball flies through the air. It's just one of the nicest things to see in rugby these days. Dan Biggar's goal kicking. He only had 1 chance to kick a goal, but it is what it is. And then we've got the discipline, 12 for both teams. Lots of cards, 3 yellow cards against England, 2 against Wales. I think there was 1 early on for repeated penalty. I think both Welsh penalties were 2 repeated penalties. And it's just the referee, Nika, was really giving out birthday cards to everybody. This was also the most capped English team ever. So with a performance like that, it's really embarrassing as well. You should really blown out this Welsh team that is very largely inexperienced and poor. Had a pretty poor. Pretty poor Six Nations. I mean, both teams had pretty poor Six Nations. And so this game, Let's go through some of the key moments. 6 minutes into the game. Oh, yeah, Plumtree had a pretty bad game, but I don't really want to go. So, yeah, let's just go through the tries and the points scored. So, 10 minutes into the game, England was having a bit of dominance. They get a penalty. I thought for sure they would just go for the line out, go for their set piece, because, it's something that the English team prides them, a little bit on. Not Owen Farrell says, we're going to take 3 points. 10 minutes into the game, they get 3 points on the ball. Really, I don't know why would you ever opt for 3 points in a trial match. This blows my mind. But yeah, England, I think Owen Farrell wants some goal kicking practice, so it goes for that. England was struggling a lot in the scrummaging earlier on. It looked like they had a bit of a dominance, but it was just not able to stay on their feet a lot. And then there was a lot of scrums. There was 2, I think, in the first half that was turned over due to scrum penalties. And then the game was pretty stale for England, for both teams actually. Wales was not able to score any points in the first half. There was lots of drop balls. I've got a whole list of drop balls here. And the 31 minutes into the game, Henry Arundel gets a yellow carded. This was a really stupid move as well. So Liam Williams gets the ball inside his own 22. He calls a mark and then takes a quick tap. Henry Arundel was right in front of him in offside position. Just probably reflex. Tackles Liam Williams completely offside. And then referee's like, that's a yellow card. Like, there's no way about it. That's just, professional foul. Van Poelfle rolls his ankle after this. It looks pretty bad. Hopefully, he's going to be okay. The Will Stewart on the England side is really struggled a lot, actually, in the tight head position. When the reserve props came on, Dan Cole and Ellis Genge came on, England scrum finally found some dominance. To be honest, so Will Stewart was really struggling for the most part of the first half. In fact, when he was struggling the whole game in the tight head position for England. The England finally found like I said, found themselves inside the Welsh 22. Lots of repeated penalties. Referee gives a warning to Wales, and Owen Farrell decides to take 3 points. Twickenham boos him, literally getting booed by his own fans for making this decision. 1 minute into the second half, the one of the Welsh players was penalised for not rolling. Let me just get his name up. I think it's Tommy Raphael. He was caught in the breakdown, and then the referee says, I didn't forget the warning in the first half, issues a yellow card. I think this was probably a bit too hasty, because this was not like in a dangerous position. This was like halfway. And I really didn't think that was worthy of a yellow card, because you should only give a yellow card if it's like close to the opposition try line. Whereas this was pretty much like way out in the halfway. I didn't think that was worthy of a yellow card. But anyway, referees had enough. That's a yellow card against Wales right away. And England goes for another 3 points. Again, really, really bad decision by Owen Farrell. Surely you have the players in the bin, and it's a minute into the second half. Nobody's even breaking a sweat yet. Just go for the trial and go for the corner. Go for the set piece. Go for your strengths. Now Owen Farrell wants more kicking practice. Gets this one. 9 points to 0. And then 43 minutes into the game, the England gets penalised again for wheeling the scrum illegally, despite, again, 7 players in the Welsh scrum. So I don't know how this works, how they managed to do that. But again, Will Stewart was really struggling. So yeah, the England scrum, this was really embarrassing against 7 players. So Wales actually takes the opportunity to kick 3 points, because, obviously have a play in the bin. 9 points to 3. And then 49 minutes into the game, Owen Farrell throws the ball and literally slips out his hand. Just really embarrassing. And then Dan Biggar comes onto the field after this. And then there was another penalty on 50th minute against Stewart again for losing his bind in the scrum again. So there was a lot of penalties against him. Don't know what's going on with him. And then 55 minutes into the game, finally the Ellis Genge is on the field. He immediately knocks the ball on and says, guys, let's pack a scrum. So he packs the scrum. Cole comes on as well. And again, it looked like he slipped. And referee says penalty. And then he gets sent off pretty much immediately. So I was like, I didn't know why. This decision was really bizarre. Like, why would you deliberately collapses scrum on your own feed makes no sense to me. So yeah, he gets sent off for deliberately collapsing the scrum, I guess. Overleaning is the call from the referee. So yeah, it's the Owen Farrell gets moved to, so they put George Ford onto the field, and everybody's kind of expecting Owen Farrell to be taken off. But no, Owen Farrell gets moved to outside center. George Ford goes to 12, and Lawrence stays at. Owen Farrell moves out to 13, and Lawrence stays at 12. Ollie Lawrence stays at 12. So that's the English setup when George Ford comes onto the field. The 59 minutes into the game, Wales gets this penalty. They gets a penalty. They with obviously Ellis Genge in the bin, they kick the boy out for a penalty. They build a lot of pressure near the try line. Just pick and go. The ball comes out really slowly to Dan Biggar. So surely the English would have seen the setup, the wide open space out wide. But yeah, despite the very slow ball to Biggar, Biggar was able to kick a crossfield kick, perfectly puts it just inside the try line for Josh Adams. Josh Adams jumps out, catches the ball. Pretty sure was out of position, tried to cover this and takes out Josh Adams in the air. Gets him sent off for a yellow card and a penalty try. Yeah, really, really sucks. Now England's immediately down to 13 players. Even though with 13 players and the loose prop in the team, Wales still can't get the lineouts right, so they lost more lineouts. And then they actually just looked better. The backline was looking really good for Wales, but they're really not able to get the ball because their full pack was so bad in retaining their own ball. 63 minutes into the game, the TMO caused a stoppage for the game. Review, Owen Farrell gets sent off for a red card, shoulder charge to the head. When I watched this live, I did think that, Owen Farrell looked like Owen Farrell putting a shoulder in. And I was like, oh, was that a shoulder charge? Turns out the ref, because it kind of happened really quickly, the game just played on. Turned out it was. And the referee had no choice but to send him off. And then TMO reviewed it, was turned into a red. 65 minutes into the game, the Welsh ran away with a 17-meter try. Obviously, against 12 players, it was spaced out everywhere. Wales just, took the ball from inside just outside their own 22. And then the number Joe Roberts runs like this lines, just literally runs straight through the center field. There was no one covering him, and then he just links up with Thomas Williams on his inside, and then there was like 5 support runners around him, and so there was no way England was going to cover that. The Thomas Williams goes in for a try against a 12-player English team. So 19 points to 17. It's looking like everything's going Welsh way. England starting to get their players back onto the field, and suddenly England is feeling that resurgence. And obviously, without the liability that is Owen Farrell, England was able to go to do their set piece. So 66 minutes into the game, England immediately from the kickoff, it's Colin Laws gets the turnover from the kickoff penalty. Instead of kicking for 3, they go for the corner, and then just set up the maul. The backs joins in with 2 players in the bin. I think still 3 players in the bin at this point. Maybe Ellis Genge was back. Still massively missing players. The English team was able to maul themselves through for a try, which was quite impressive. 16 points to 17. England clawed themselves just 1 point behind. And England clearly getting a lot more ascendancy now, despite without Owen Farrell. Everybody's playing more energetic. The forwards are really hitting hard on the carries and really hitting hard on the breakdown. And again, the lineouts were still out of confusion for the Wales, losing more over their long lineouts. And then eventually, 74 minutes into the game, Adam Beard gets penalized for Adam Beard gets penalized for I think it was not rolling away. Oh no, he was hands on the ground. I think it was for jackling, and he gets sent off for too many penalties. So Nika is just he's giving out birthday cards, mate. Like honestly, this was really ridiculous. Yeah, it was a little bit ridiculous, I think, at this point. So Wales is also down to 14 players. England is down to 14 players with a red card with Owen Farrell. 75 minutes into the game, England was applying more dominance. Oh yeah, they were getting repeated penalties just in front of the goalpost, and then they decided to go for 3 points to try to just seal the game. George Ford punters went in, 19 points to 17. More handling errors for Wales. Wales was trying to bring themselves back, but just the forwards was really poor. The handling errors at 76 minutes into the game was 8 against Wales, 10 against England. I think it was eventually ended up, 8 against England, 10 against Wales. I think it eventually ended up with 11 against Wales, the total penalty errors. 77 minutes into the game, scrum penalty to England, obviously with the player Adam Beard in the bin. This was just an easy pushover for England. And then, eventually the England was able to close out the game with some good game control from George Ford to close out the game. Yes, 19 points to 17. Really just not really impressive for either teams. But I think the good news for England is that Owen Farrell is gone. So yeah, that is really, really he really proved to the world that he is the worst player in England, Owen Farrell. But let me know your thoughts, guys. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys a bit later for the French game. Cheers.